Welcome to Lab 1. This is pretty self-explanatory. When you start your project, you go here, start project 1. Then you just click here to the next frame. And this explains to you the project. And you're just clicking these next ones. Now if you want to skip ahead or go back to a particular page, click Table of Contents. And then find the frame that you were at. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Flash. So I bring up my folder here and I click Flash. So when it pops up, you're back in business. This frame tells you how to start your Flash screen, of course, but this is using CS4. Now you notice here it's asking us to do a Flash file action script 3. It's going to look a little bit different with CS5. Here I am in CS5. There's Action Scripts 3, so I'll click that. Now on this screen we're told to save the file as Fish Movie. So here I go, File, Save As, Fish Movie. Now I get a little information about the Flash Workspace. What the different parts of the screen are. So here it tells you how to set up your workspace. Go into the window, click Workspace, and click Reset Essentials. Window, Workspace, Reset Essentials. This one tells you about the stage. The stage is where all the action in the movie takes place. Just a big white box here. If it's outside in the gray area, you're not going to see it in the movie. Okay, now we're instructed to turn off the snap settings. So what we're going to do is go to the View menu, click Snapping, then click Edit Snapping. View menu, Snapping, Edit Snapping, take the check marks out and click OK. Now we're going to talk about the Tools panel. The Tools panel is where you pick your tools to draw, to paint, to select things, and to edit objects. Here we learned about the Pencil tool. The Pencil tool's right here. Okay, the Pencil tool is going to let you draw the lines and shapes. It has different modes. It makes them straighter, or it will smooth them. Or ink doesn't change the lines you draw, they show up exactly as you draw them. So let's look at these modes. I've got my pencil clicked right here, and it's already set to smoothing. So let me show you how that works. So I draw a line, it smooths it out. I draw a line, it smooths it out. Now if I go to the next one, so I select these on the bottom. See, I've got it set, I can set it for straighten. If I click it, see, I make it curly and it just straightens it out. Or I can go ink mode, so whatever I draw, that's what I get. So now we're going to draw the outline of our fish, and we're going to use the pencil tool. We're going to use it in smooth mode, and we're going to put a color on it. Now I've got my pencil tool selected. I want to put it in smooth mode, so I click my pencil tool. And I come down here and I find the smooth tool, the S. So I want to make sure that that's an S. Now I want to choose a color for that pen. Now you may not have this up here. So what you do is you click this. And they say black. I'll do it in black, but I think that you can use whatever color you want. So now I'm going to draw my fish. I just kept on going. I didn't make any breaks in my line, and you'll see why in a moment. Make sure your lines are connected with no breaks. You want to undo something, that's Control Z. You want to redo something, That's Control Y. It just repeats the last thing you did or undoes what you did. Control Z undoes it. Control Y redoes it. It's a great tool when if you make a mistake. The other thing they show you how to use is your eraser tool. Your eraser tool looks like an eraser. It's pink and it's square. So you just drag it over one of your lines to erase it. So this is good when you're drawing. You know how to erase things. You know how to undo things. And that's important. Okay, you're going to hear the word stroke. When we talk about strokes, what we mean is just an outline. So we did the outline for the fish. That's called a stroke. That is just a selection of colors. You can change that color to wherever you want. Welcome to Lab 2. We're going to put color in that fish outline. So we're done with Lab 1. Lab 2, we're going to color in the fish and we're going to give it an eye. And we're going to make fins and stuff. So in order to fill in the fish, you're going to use a fill color. A fill is part of the drawing that's filled with color. It looks like a bucket on the keyboard. The difference between using the brush as a fill and using the paint bucket is that the paint bucket you need to have an outline. The brush you don't. You just paint a fill in with a paintbrush. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the bucket. I click my palette here. I'm going to give it a color. And now I'm going to pour it into the fish. If that didn't work, it means I have gaps and I need to magnify up and look at the fish. And if I want to zoom in, all I also do is click the view and I click zoom in or control and equals. So now if I'm here, all I have to do is to keep on zooming in, control with the plus, and I can see the fish. And maybe where I have a break in the line, I fill that break and I try pouring in the bucket again. You have different sections like he does with fins here. You can put different colors in. We're about ready to make our fish eye. So what we're going to do is we're going to use what's called a shape with a stroke. So we're going to use the circle tool and we're going to create a shape, and it has a fill color in it and a stroke color. Okay, it also introduces in this lesson the hidden tools. You see right here, here, you see those little triangles? That means you click on that and you'll see more options. Now I'm going to make the eye for my fish. I'm going to keep the stroke color, this pencil color, the same color, but I want to definitely change the color of the circle. Now see, I have a rectangle up here. The oval's hidden under that. I click that hidden hide thing here. And right here's my oval tool. So now it says my stroke is brown, my fill is yellow. I don't want a yellow fill. So what I do is I click that yellow color and I come down here and make it white. So now all I do is I drag on the fish wherever I want that eye to go. Now I'm going to give that fish an eyeball. So I'm going to go to the brush. So I'm going to choose a brush size. I come down here at the bottom. I hover over it, says brush size. I click it out and I pick a brush size. I don't want it to be white, so I pick an eye color for the fish. I'm going to go with black. Now all I have to do is give him an eyeball, just paint it in there. Now I'm going to click on the pencil tool here, and I'm going to add the details for my fish. Welcome to Lab 3. So now we're in Project 3. We're going to animate this fish so he swims across the water. Now in order to make this fish swim, we've got to make him into a symbol. And all the symbol is that it's an object that's been turned into, it's a drawing that's been turned into a single object. Once you turn it into a symbol, you can't change it anymore. So make sure the fish is the way you want it. And we're going to make it a symbol so that we can move it easily around the stage. So now I'm going to change the fish into a symbol. So I'm going to click up here to the selection tool. I'm going to draw a square around the fish. Then I'm going to click modify, convert to a symbol. Now I'm going to just call this one fish. And I'm going to make sure this says movie clip. And click OK. Now what we do is we make our animation. You see it's a movie that's done by a series of images that come by quickly. A cartoon is a very popular animation, right? First we draw the picture, the major things that we want to happen, and then we put the pictures in between. Okay, every image in the animation is called a frame. These are all frames. The ones where important things happened are called keyframes. Okay, we use tween in flash animation. A tween is just an animation. You draw the important images and Flash fills it. So here's the timeline. If we're going to make animations, we need to make a series of frames. You do this using a timeline, and you do it using what are called keyframes. So what Flash provides in between the keyframes are called tweens, right? Tweens are tween spans because they span across many frames. They appear as blue bars. So if we had this was our next keyframe, everything in between would be a tween. So in between, tween. That's one way to remember it. So now we're going to insert our motion tween. So I go click my insert menu and I click motion tween. So now I have it all the way out to 24. That's where I want it to go. So I just click here. So now I'm on the last frame. Where do I want the fish to be in the last frame? I want its tail all just leaving the frame here. See the dotted line here? It's going to create the movement between here and there. So now just click the enter key and you'll watch that movement. Just like that. That green line that we created is called a motion path. What is a motion path? It just shows you the movement of the animated object. It's your starting and ending point. So changing the shape of a motion path is going to change the way that the object moves. So now I'm going to bend up the motion path. I'm just going to click here and bend it up like that. And now when I click enter, that's what he does. He jumps. What I want to do is I want to begin the motion all the way at the beginning here of the timeline. So what I can do is I can click in frame 1. And I'm going to move that fish so that just see his nose in frame 1. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, now you can do all kinds of things with motion path. Another thing I can do is change the speed the way he's going. Now watch at the bottom. I'm going to grab that red thing and I'm going to take it all the way to 10. Oops, there we go. Now I click enter, it's fast. I can make it slower, I can go all the way to 50. So I can get my double-headed arrow here, take it all the way up to 50. Now when I click enter, he swims slow. So I'm going to find something in between, something I like. So I'm just going to drag it out to be about maybe, I don't know, 30. Okay. So that ends labs 1 through 3.